With the development of Exodus progressing smoothly across the board, we're now reaching the stage where we're able to polish our gameplay and refine some of our environments. One of the places that we've been working on throughout September is the Atarnite Mine. The last time we showed you all this area was 5 months ago, back when we had just completed the general layout. When initially designing the mine, we wanted you to feel claustrophobic traversing it, with tight tunnels surrounding you, ready to collapse at any moment. However, after some recent playtests, we found that this very enclosed environment just ended up feeling very frustrating to traverse, as the camera would constantly clip through its surroundings. As a result, we've decided to expand all of the mine shafts and tunnels in this mine to better suit the third-person camera we're using. Some of you may remember that we faced a similar issue back in July, with the camera clipping on the interiors of our buildings. Our solution for that was bringing the camera closer to the player. However, this wasn't as viable for the mine, as a lot of the sections in this area vary drastically in size, and we didn't want the camera constantly adjusting during gameplay and throwing off the flow of combat. For this reason, we found that increasing the size of the tunnels was the best solution. On a less general note, we've been reworking specific sections of the mine as we felt that we could deliver much more interesting gameplay in them. One such area is this long mine shaft, which was previously filled with different enemies for you to defeat. We decided that it would make for a much more fun and interesting experience if we adjusted this section and used it to break up the combat within the area. As a result, this long tunnel is now being replaced by a bendy path that you have to climb, whilst avoiding minecarts filled with explosives. Adding sections like this is really helping to deliver the varied gameplay that we're going for with Exodus, something that we've touched on in more detail in the past, with the lower city in particular. I also have to add that it was quite a lot of fun stress testing the bomb carts. I can safely say that these things are pretty optimized. Anyway, something else we've been working on in the Atarnite Mine is setting up our enemy encounters, utilizing NPC tethering. If you missed our 7th devlog where we talked about this in more depth, this allows us to set enemies to return to their spawn point and or despawn if you enter or exit a certain radius, which helps a ton with keeping the game running smoothly. Whilst our level designer has been setting up these enemy encounters, we've also been adding in new visual effects and sound effects throughout the area, and it's been crazy to see just how much of an impact these two things alone can have on bringing the world to life. Moving on from the Atarnite Mine now, but staying on the topic of visual effects, you may recall a few months ago when we first mentioned an engine update that broke the lighting throughout the world. Since then, we've been steadily restoring the lighting across the game, which includes not only our environments, but also various visual effects, such as our magic spells. It's been really nice to use some of the spells in combat again, and while some of them still need lighting adjustments, we've made some great progress on restoring them to how they used to be. I want to now briefly take you back to the Barathrum Forest, as our environment artist has made a key change to help with the performance in this area. Previously, every single tree in this location was placed individually, meaning that all of them were loaded in, no matter where you were in the forest. This month, we finally had the time to convert all of the trees into foliage instances, changing the instances of trees from over 700 to just 1. This allows us to cull out all of the trees that you won't see, depending on where you are in this area, resulting in a boost in frames. Moving forward, we'll be applying this to all of the other trees throughout the world as we continue to polish each area. I think it's really important that I address things like this, because I've seen a lot of comments from some of you guys who are worried that you won't be able to run Exodus smoothly on your PC. Whilst I can't guarantee that the game will run smoothly on ultra settings on every single machine, I do want to try to reassure you all that we're optimizing Exodus as much as we possibly can. As much as you guys, we also want the game to run well on lower end computers, and we're trying our absolute best to make that happen. Aside the main updates which I just covered, we've also made a ton of smaller gameplay adjustments this month. I won't list off each and every small tweak that we made throughout September, but one example is allowing exploding barrels to blow each other up in a chain reaction. The next step with these barrels will be allowing you to blow them up with all the different magic projectiles, as they currently only detonate when hit with a melee weapon, arrow, or fireball. Moving on from our gameplay polish and into the final part of this devlog, let's talk about some of the new areas we've been building. The block map for the new Academy of Varin saw completion this month. Congrats to those of you who guessed correctly on our social media poll, by the way. Academies and schools have been some of my favourite locations in Fantasy Worlds, and so I'm excited to see how this area progresses throughout October. To end off, let's take a trip to South Vale, the newest addition to the world of Exodus Rising. South Vale is being designed to be very open, a stark contrast to any of the other areas that we've shown off thus far. With a vast area to explore, you'll come across many different NPCs, side quests and challenges to take on, but of course you always have the option of instead pushing forward the main story if that's how you prefer to play. One of the many activities you'll encounter here is the Palawan race, which is currently a work in progress. As implied by the name, this activity involves you taking control of your own Palawan and racing down some different tracks. Score yourself a victory and you'll be rewarded with gold, or maybe even some unique items. Oh, and yeah, for those of you in our Discord wondering why we asked you to try out that clicking test a while back, it was for this. Overall though, as a bit of a country boy at heart, these farmlands are slowly shaping up to being one of my favourite places in the game. It's been pretty crazy to see how this area has developed throughout September, and whilst it still has a long ways to go before it's complete, I'm really excited to see you all explore around to see what you can find. And on that note, that concludes our 10th dev update, spanning September 2021. As always, I hope you all enjoyed it, and a big shout out to everybody who made it all the way through to the end. Before I say goodbye today, I want to let you guys know that October 1st, tomorrow as of when this devlog has been uploaded, is our alpha trailer's 1 year anniversary.